All right, today we're going to dive into a pretty big idea that's actually based on a really simple premise: react with just 1% per month. So let's unpack what that actually means.
I mean, think about where we are. It's the 21st century. We have the internet connecting billions of us, and AI that's just moving at this incredible pace. With all this power, right at our fingertips, the big question becomes, can we use it all to build a bridge? A bridge between all this amazing tech potential and the real, everyday lives of every single person on this planet.
And that leads us right into the grand challenge. Because, yeah, the internet connects us, but our efforts are kind of all over the place. We're all moving in 1,000 different directions, just focused on our own little worlds. So the real problem is figuring out a system, a way to work together that can unite our massive, untapped potential to make some real, measurable change. But before we can even think about building anything, we've got to face this fundamental roadblock. It's an obstacle that gets in the way of pretty much any big collective project. You could call it our core conflict.
And this, right here, just lays out that tension perfectly. See, on one side, you've got these huge global problems that demand collective action, shared responsibility, a long-term vision. But on the other side, you have the simple reality of human nature. Most of us, rationally, are asking, so what's in it for me? We're wired to look for individual motivation and, immediate rewards. And that clash is exactly why so many great ideas just never get off the ground.
So how do you solve a conflict like that? Well, the proposed answer is a system that's designed to be both direct and super convenient. It's called Project P56.
See, Project P56 is built from the ground up to tackle exactly that problem. It's basically a formula that's meant to connect your personal benefit directly with contributing to the greater good. The key thing here is that it doesn't ask you to sacrifice your own self-interest. It tries to build it right into the system from the very beginning.
But here's the thing, P56 isn't just about getting people to work together. It also takes aim at another massive problem we're all facing in the 21st century, the total crisis of trust in the information we use every single day.
If you think about it, right now, our information generally comes from one of three places. First, you've got stuff written directly by humans, articles, books, things like Wikipedia. Second, we lean on search engines, which use these complex algorithms to sort through all that stuff for us. And third, the new kid on the block, artificial intelligence, which can just give us answers directly.
And here's the catch. Every single one of them has a pretty serious flaw. Search engine results, they get heavily manipulated by SEO, which means we often see what someone paid to put at the top, not necessarily what's the most accurate. And with AI, you've got this black box problem. It spits out an answer, but we can't easily check its sources or even understand why it came to that conclusion. And that opens the door to some really subtle, almost undetectable manipulation.
So, this is where the alternative comes in. Instead of unverified, potentially biased, and totally opaque information from an AI, the P56 model is shooting for a system that's human-verified and community-controlled. The whole goal is to create a transparent, reliable reference point, a knowledge base built by people, for people, that we can all use to fact-check the super-fast but sometimes unproven answers we get from AI.
Okay, so we've got this massive vision, right? Uniting human potential, building a trusted source of knowledge. But how on earth do you get something that ambitious to actually start? Well, it begins with a really simple concept called the 1% reaction.
Now, when you hear all this, it's so easy to think, okay, this sounds like a massive commitment. But the entire entry point is designed to be the exact opposite of that. It all starts with this one simple number, just 1%. So let's actually break that down. What does 1% of your monthly engagement even look like? It's probably a lot less than you're thinking. We're talking about 102 minutes a month. That breaks down to about 15 minutes a week. And in real terms, that's just a few dozen clicks to help get a project like this moving. The whole point is that the initial buy-in is incredibly small.
And really, that's what this all boils down to. This massive idea of building a bridge to a better world, of creating a trusted source of knowledge for everyone, it all comes down to one small, totally manageable first step. The question on your screen puts it perfectly. It's just a few dozen clicks a month. Can you handle it?